Okay, so welcome to this section of the Geography Open Day presentation, which I'm going to talk about our teaching methods and supports that we use in the department. So I'm Dr. Rebecca Hodge, and I'm the Director of Undergraduate Admissions in Geography. So we use a range, across both of our undergraduate programs, we use a range of different teaching methods. One of the core things that we use in most modules that we deliver is lectures. So one of the big questions that we get at Open Days is kind of what our contact time is we would expect to get as an undergraduate. It's a little bit hard to answer that question because it often depends exactly what combination of modules you decide to do. But as a rule of thumb, as an undergraduate in the first year, you'll tend to get 2 hours of lectures per module per week. So that tends to mean about 10 hours of lecture time per week in your first year. On top of those lectures, we also do a range of other sorts of teaching. One of those is seminars, workshops, and tutorials. And these are really important to provide you with a small group element of teaching. So you get together a small group of your colleagues and our academic staff, and they really enable sort of in-depth discussions of maybe areas of the module that you've been talking about. It might be preparing for a piece of work, or it might be particularly sort of practicals that you've been allocated to do in those seminars. Alongside seminars, workshops, and tutorials, we often run practical sessions as well, particularly in the BSc. So computer-based practicals are a really important way to get you up to speed and to kind of teach you all the different sorts of software that we use in our geography undergraduate experience. So things like GIS are really important to be taught through computer-based practicals, things like statistical skills and other sorts of software. So those are often used particularly in the methods modules at first year and second year. Fieldwork is clearly a core part of any geography programme. So our fieldwork we do from our Portugal field trip at level 1 for our BSc students through to overseas field trip that we offer at level 3. We also offer surgeries as well. So the surgeries will be where a member of staff has maybe set a particular piece of work and they'll say, okay, I'm going to be in my office for these hours, and you can just drop in and ask them any questions. Throughout your entire time at Durham, you're also very welcome to meet up with any member of staff if you've got any particular questions. The standard way it works is that you can just drop them an email or ask them at the end of the lecture, and you can arrange a time for an individual meeting with them. So that's all our sort of contact types of methods of teaching that we provide. But clearly the key thing of any undergraduate any undergraduate degree is going to be our guided independent study. But we're quite aware that guided independent study is often quite different to what you've done at school and a kind of different way of learning. So we don't just say sort of, there's the library, get on with it. We really spend our first year making sure that you've got the skills and you know how to undertake independent study in order that you can learn successfully throughout the rest of your degree programme. And so a lot of the tutorials that we run in the first year are really based around teaching those core skills that you'll need in order to be successful. Delivery of those skills is also supported by your academic advisor. So your academic advisor is a member of staff who you'll have key meetings with at various points throughout your 3 years with us as an undergraduate. The first of those meetings will be soon after you arrive in Durham, and it gives you an opportunity to really sort of talk through any concerns that you have, to talk about how your undergraduate experience will work, and also to think about what modules you want to do. So choose the modules that are really tailored to your particular interest. Another key meeting that you'll have with the undergraduate academic advisor is at the end of each year. And at those meetings, we sit down with our students, we look at all the feedback for all the pieces of work, we look at their exam scripts, and we say, okay, well, what's gone well? What have they got good marks for? Maybe what hasn't gone quite so well. We really think about, okay, well, what skills are they already good at? What skills do they maybe need to develop? We come up with a sort of personal plan that's tailored to them to really make sure that they can improve the following year and they can do as well as they possibly can. You're also welcome to contact your academic advisor at any point in the year if you've got any particular questions or anything that you want to discuss with them. Midway through the second year, your academic advisor will also become your dissertation supervisor. So we get students to think about what area of geography it is that they want to do their dissertation in, and then we reallocate them a new academic advisor in that sort of same research area. So you have a dissertation supervisor who is an expert in the particular area that you're interested in. And then you'll meet regularly with that academic advisor, that dissertation supervisor, over the next 18 months, where you basically put together the initial idea for your dissertation, you carry out the work and research for your dissertation, and then all the way through to writing up that process, which is submitted after the Easter holidays in your final year. Another key teaching method is geography field trips, and I just want to say a little bit about the range of geography field trips that we offer throughout our degree programmes. So we have a number of compulsory field trips, so that's Portugal for the BSc in Year 1. In Level 2, everyone does a compulsory UK-based field trip, so that's Glasgow, Liverpool and Bristol for the BA, the Skye and the Lake District for the BSc. And then at Level 3, we have a series of optional field trips that run to Iceland, Switzerland, Norway, Nepal, Jerusalem, Cape Town, Berlin, and Chicago. In terms of the cost for those field trips, the compulsory field trips in Level 1 and 2, because they're compulsory, those are covered by the cost of your fees, and we don't ask for any extra contribution towards those. For the optional field trips, the department provides a pot of money for each student, and that can be put towards those optional field trips, and then we ask you as a student to make up the difference. We're quite aware that a lot of our students have different sort of financial backgrounds and different sort of availability of money, and therefore we always make sure that we have a range of different field trips with a range of different costs associated. Now, the final thing I want to talk about in this particular session is the assessment methods that we use at Durham. And it seems like many ways that schools at the moment are sort of moving more towards an exam-based assessment. There's actually maybe not that much sort of continuous assessment throughout the year. And very much in Durham, in geography certainly, we're very much going in the other direction at the moment. We do set examinations, but in many ways the examinations are actually quite a small proportion of the total assessment that our students do. Instead, we use a very wide range of assessment to assess our students, and I think this broad range of assessment is really important because it means that our students have to develop a really broad range of skills in order to meet all those different assessment methods. And it's really that really broad skills base that actually makes our students very employable when they graduate. So the sorts of assessment methods that we use include things like sort of extended essays like dissertations, examinations which are both unseen but also takeaway examinations where you might write it over a period of time, things like field lab books and sort of efficient note-taking, lab and field reports where you have to write in a sort of like different style to a standard essay, oral presentations both individually and as a group, poster presentations, visual essays, things like policy-orientated writing assignments, so thinking about really how we can use geographical or we can apply geographical knowledge sort of for government policy, and then also research project proposals.